I love this cute on and off switch. It's so tiny. Today I am reviewing the Bestek 300 watt power inverter for 12 volt. It plugs into your cigarette lighter. I've gotten it, I've taken it out. I haven't actually tried it out yet, so I will try it out with you guys. And I'm going to plug in my laptop and my camera battery charger into this, because that's what I will mostly be using this for on the way to the RTR, because I am going to have to upload videos for you guys and be able to edit them. So that is pretty much what I'll be using this for most of the time, is just my laptop battery and my camera battery. So let's get right to the product review. Alright, so let's check out the Bestek 300 watt power inverter. The Bestek ASMR video will be uploaded separately. Just kidding. Anyway, let's get right into it. So, when you open it, it comes like this. I just got this from Amazon. So, you've got your cable here. I think this is 2 feet long. And it's a lot smaller than I thought it was. It's only this small, so it's like smaller than my hand. It's really super small. But it's so cute! Look at this thing. I love the red. So there's the information. And it is 300 watts, so before I go into this, if you have a Prius and you want to get a power inverter, you should know that you should not draw more than 120 watts out of your 12 volt system. This is staying within the limits of the 12 volt system. So you're just plugging this in, and you want to just harness power from the 12 volt system without modifying anything. Stay within 120 watts. But you can use a power inverter that is rated for higher than 120 watts. You just can't draw more than 120 watts, because if you do, then you will blow a fuse, either in your inverter or your 12 volt system, or both. So yeah, if you're not doing anything like modifying the 12 volt battery in your Prius, which takes a little bit more advanced electrical knowledge, and you're like me and you just want to stay within the limits of the 12 volt system, then you just want to not go over 120 watts. So for my purposes, I will not be doing that. I am just going to be charging my laptop, which only needs 85 watts. And my camera battery, which should not use much. I need to check that. So I got this for 30 bucks on Amazon. I think that's quite a good deal for a power inverter, especially with 2 outlets. So yeah, taking a look at the side here, we come with 2 AC outlets. This is converting DC to AC, and it also gives you these. Focus here. Oh, that's as far as it focuses. Okay, so you get the 2 AC outlets. These are just, regular household outlets, so you can plug anything into those. As long as it doesn't go over 300 watts, you can plug that into this. And like I said, if you're plugging this into your Prius, don't go above 120. And it also gives you the 2 USB outlets. I probably won't be using these too much, because the Prius already comes with quite a few USB outlets, so I'll just be using those directly. It's probably safer anyway, so I'll just use those, but it's nice to know that they're actually there. And so yeah, I'll just be using these. I did plug in my laptop into these. I didn't actually plug it into the Prius yet, but I'll show you that. My only complaint, my only downside to this is I can't have my laptop and a camera battery charging at the same time. So that's the only real downside for me, but that's easily worked around, so not a big deal. So yeah, here we go. There's all the information. There's your vent on the back. I love this cute on and off switch. It's so tiny. Look how tiny it is. It's got a nice satisfying little click there. So there's the fan. So you don't want to block that once it's plugged in. You can see how small this is. I did not expect it to be this small, so this will fit very well on the center console somewhere around the cup holders, something like that. So very good. Like I said, it's a 2-foot cord, so very flexible positioning. In the Prius, there are 2 places where you can plug in a device like this. There is a plug-in in the front center console, which I will show you, and then there's one in the back seat near the floor in the middle. So yeah, this will plug into either of those and we'll be good to go. So let's go ahead and do that. So here's the little instruction paper that this thing came with. So very useful, pretty basic information. There are some cool features about this. It says that it is equipped with the 2 110-volt household electrical outlets and provides 300 watts of continuous power with 700 watts of surge power capability. It's got the 2 dual USB ports, DC 5-volt 4.2A in all. Save your charging time and use one is 0 to 2.4A, I guess that's amp, fast charging. So this also comes with some safety features which are really useful in a power inverter. You really want to see these if you're getting a power inverter. It says, keep you and your gear safe. It will automatically shut off in the event of short circuits, low battery power, DC input voltage overload, output overload, or excessive temperature. And it will resume working automatically after this exception is eliminated. So it has a LED indicator light. That's this right there. Power switch, a high-speed cooling fan, and a soft start surge protection. Input and output isolated system keeps you from electric shock. Yeah, we don't want that. It also has some interesting notes on here that are just important information to have just in general when you're considering purchasing a power inverter. It's important to work out the electrical demands before purchasing any inverter. Since the inverter, this inverter has a fuse that will trip over a certain voltage, using a small one to run equipment that requires a lot of power will not work, obviously. So a helpful tip whilst deciding on the car power inverter for you is to add the maximum wattage that each piece of equipment will require if all were run simultaneously, and then add 10% to that total. So get an inverter that can handle that wattage. So all of your electronics, the wattage of all of your electronics added together, and then multiply that by 10%. And whatever wattage that is, get an inverter that can handle that wattage and you should be fine. Obviously don't use in direct sunlight, don't place it in direct sunlight or next to heat sensitive materials, you know, no brainer stuff. So yeah, and a bunch of other safety precautions. So one more thing before we take this actually into the Prius and plug it in is this is not a pure sine wave inverter. So for those who don't know what that means, most power inverters like these use what's called a modified sine wave. And basically that just translates to it will produce more heat in your electronics. So you might notice that some of them feel like they're overheating while they're charging. That's what happens with a modified sine wave. If you have a pure sine wave inverter, that won't happen, and it'll, you know, be less likely to damage your electronics. So a pure sine wave inverter is the best kind of inverter to get. Obviously, they're much more expensive. I could not afford a pure sine wave inverter for this trip, unfortunately, but for this trip, this one will do just fine. So I will just keep an eye on my electronics, and I will unplug them if I feel them getting hot. So with that done, let's take it to the Prius. Okay, so here we are in my Prius. This is an actual view of my very dusty cup holders and center console. This is real here. So here we go. Yeah, I know there's a lot of wires here, but this is, like, I know where everything is. So this is my aux cord. This is my USB cord that I use to charge my phone. So that just plugs right in there. Like I said, I'm not going to be using the USB ports on this too much, just because the car already has them right here. And so this thing that you see plugged in right now is my cargo, actually. So there you go. There's my cargo. I didn't go to the trouble of uninstalling this thing beforehand because it's a pain. So we're just going to demonstrate this right here. So I'm just going to unplug the cargo there. So there it is, the 12 volt 120 watt system. So yeah, that tells you don't go above 120 watts. And I just realized in order to test this out, we need to turn the car on. Duh. Alright, so the car is on, and now we can actually plug this thing in and have it do something. So here we go. Plugging in the Bestek for the first time. Let's make sure it's in the off position. That's a good idea. And it is. Alright. Good safety tip, kids. Alright. Sorry, I'm doing this one-handed. So sorry if this is sloppy. Okay. This is getting caught on something. Okay. Alright, so now, for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to set it right on top of the cargo. So here we go. Let's power it on. I'm going to flip the switch in the back, and we should see the light come on. It's alive! And I heard the fan come on, so you can probably hear that. Oh, I smell it. It smells like new electronic smell. Okay, so it emits a little bit of noise. Definitely not obnoxious though. I can feel the air coming out. Okay, we got a little green indicator light. Okay, so now I'm going to plug in my battery charger. I didn't bring the laptop out here, but I will test that as well. So here's my battery charger from my Nikon. That's what I'm using right now. So there we go. And like I said, I can't charge my laptop battery and my camera battery at the same time because, as you can see, the plugs are a little too close together, and this folds out here. So yeah, when it's plugged in, there's really no room to plug in something else. So that's just something I'll have to deal with, but no big deal for sure. So yeah, this probably draws even less than the laptop battery, so I'm not concerned about going over that 120 watts. So let's plug it in. There we go, plugged it in, and it is charging. Check that out. and you can hear the little fan going there. That is not the car being on. The car is being completely silent. The inverter is what is making the noise. So yeah, it's good. Definitely, like, you know, not too loud, not too obnoxious. It's fine. It's venting. It's doing its job. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with it. We'll see how fast it charges. I'm assuming if it's, you know, the same as a regular household outlet, that it'll take about the same amount of time to charge. The USB outlets might be a little different, but for AC household outlets, I'm expecting it'll be about the same amount of time. And these batteries take, I don't know, depending on how dead they are, like about an hour, sometimes sooner. So an hour from dead anyway. So yeah, this will be put to the test once I start driving across the country to Quartzsite. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. So I expect this to be just fine for my laptop as well, which will draw 85 watts. So yeah, like I said before, this is rated for 300 watts, but for the Prius, if you want to stay within the 12 volt system, within the limits of the 12 volt system, don't go above 120 watts. So yeah, should be good with that. That's really all I needed to do, is just charge my camera batteries and my laptop batteries. So yeah, looks like it's a success. I'll definitely update you guys if anything changes with this inverter. Like I said before, eventually I do want to upgrade to a pure sine wave inverter, just because I, you know, want to reduce any wear on my electronics, because my electronics are very important to what I do, and I want them to last as long as possible. So for now, this should be good. So this is the Bestek 300 watt power inverter. I'll put a link to where you can buy it on Amazon, where I got it from, in the description. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.